Namaskar, good evening. You're watching the News Hour at 9 and I'm Swati Joshi. The war in West Asia is creating the biggest oil supply disruption in history. As Iran steps up attacks on oil and transport facilities, fears of a prolonged conflict and skyrocketing oil prices are rising. In India, the looming uncertainty has translated into long queues outside LPG stations, and opposition has weaponized the opportunity to wage war against the Modi government. Armed with cutouts of LPG cylinders, INDI alliance once again lit the fires of protest. Women opposition MPs, including Priyanka Gandhi, sat down with a mock brick cooking stove outside Parliament, and others raised slogans of Naam Narendra Kam Surrender and accused the Prime Minister of being missing in action even in times of crisis. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge called on the Prime Minister to speak in the House instead of campaigning. And Rahul Gandhi headlined the woes that lie ahead.
Gas is going to be a problem. Petrol is going to be a problem. All fuel is going to be a problem.
Ma'am, PM is saying that there is no need to panic on the situation of fuel prices and LPG. I hope he's right, but it doesn't look like it.
One, the surrender crisis, and second, the cylinder crisis.
ये अच्छा दिन वाला स्टोरी कब तक मोदी जी चलाते रहेंगे? सिर्फ 2 दिन के लिए एलपीजी का हमारा पास स्टोरेज फैसिलिटी है इंडिया में।
एलपीजी लाकर दीजिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी, देश आपसे पूछ रहा है। मोदी जी एलपीजी इजराइल से मंगवाइए, अमेरिका से मंगवाइए, जिनके सामने आपने सरेंडर किया उनसे एलपीजी मंगवाइए, किल्लत दूर करिए। मतलब आप कब तक जनता को बरगलाएंगे, कब तक जुमलेबाजी करेंगे? जुमलेबाजी बंद करिए, देश समझ रहा है।
Now, any responsible opposition must be concerned for the people of the country. They must seek answers and accountability. And ever since the resumption of budget session, INDI bloc has been going after the centre for a full-fledged debate on the fuel crisis. And today that opportunity arrived. After Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi's letter to the Speaker, Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Hardeep Singh Puri was asked to prepare a response. Time was allotted for discussion, and Rahul Gandhi was given special permission to speak in the House. But as soon as he got up, he took a puzzling detour and ended up docking on the Epstein port instead.
This is a very puzzling fact for me. It has been a very puzzling fact. Why a nation the size of India would allow any other nation, the president of another nation, to give us permission to buy Russian oil, to decide who our relationships are with. And I have figured the puzzle out. And the puzzle is about compromise. We have a gentleman sitting here who is the oil minister. He himself has said that he is a friend of Mr. Epstein.
The opposition had been demanding answers. They were being given the answers, but those answers were shouted down. Reinforcements marched in, slogans ready and torpedoed Union Minister Hardeep Puri's speech with high decibels. The very details the opposition had been asking for and the country desperately wanted to hear drowned in the noise they created. Amid the noise barrage, the petroleum minister assured all there is no shortage of petrol, diesel, kerosene, ATF or fuel oil.
In the last 5 days, LPG production has been increased by 28% through refinery directive, and further procurement is actually underway. Modi government's foremost priority is that the kitchen of India's 33 crore families, especially the poor and the underprivileged, do not face any shortage. Domestic supply is fully protected and the delivery cycle is unchanged.
Does the opposition really care about people's plight, or is the crisis just another opportunity for them to milk politically? BJP is now pointing out how Rahul Gandhi is more focused on enjoying tea and toast outside the parliament than on impending threats to livelihoods that they claim to be the flag bearers for.
I demand action against the leader of the opposition. They are not only doing a demonstration, they are having a party, they are having a picnic here. They are having toast and tea and biscuits.
He made a serious remarks that our petroleum ministry is completely compromised. That is what he mentioned with the evidence. He want to mention it with evidence. Nobody can stop Rahul Gandhi for saying truth.
If indeed the opposition cared about India's needs, they would have paid attention to the Shenlong Suezmax tanker, a vessel carrying crude oil that docked in Mumbai today. This is a major diplomatic victory, as furious back-channel negotiations ensured that Iran cleared the vessel to pass through the otherwise choked Strait of Hormuz.
See, when our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is there, there's nothing to worry about.
अधिष्ठाता महोदय, जो आपने देखा कि ईरान ने कहा कि हम अपने भोमुर्ज उस जलडमरू मध्यमार्ग से भारत के लिए जो तेल के शिप जाएंगे उनको हम इजाजत देते हैं, मुझे लगता है कि दुनिया में इससे बड़ी कोई एक सफलता नहीं हो सकती.
In case the opposition missed what happened in Mumbai, they could have just heard the inter-ministerial briefing on India's energy battle plan, and that could have perhaps allayed their fears.
External Affairs Minister and Foreign Minister of Iran have had three conversations in the recent days. The last one discussed issues pertaining to safety of shipping and India's energy security. Beyond that, it would be premature for me to say anything. Prime Minister, as you know, that he has spoken to several leaders in the Gulf after the conflict started. In these conversations, he stressed on the need for dialogue and diplomacy so that early peace can return.
But unfortunately, instead of paying heed to data, leader of opposition is busy gunning for the Prime Minister. A day after Prime Minister Modi accused the Congress of spreading panic, Rahul Gandhi sought to turn the tables and said that it was the PM who was panicking.
You saw yesterday the Prime Minister's chair खाली पड़ी थी, अंदर नहीं पा रहे हैं, तो देश को कह रहे पैनिक मत करो, अपने आप पैनिक हैं.
And that brings us to the legitimate question we are asking on the debate this evening. People's pain, is that just picnic for Rahul Gandhi? Let's take that question across to our guests.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And we're joined by Pradeep Bhandari, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, along with Dr. Anand Ranganathan, an author, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, senior fellow IPCS. We also have Somnath Bharti, former Minister of Law, Tourism and Culture, Government of Delhi, and also senior leader of the Aam Aadmi Party. We have Mr. Riju Datta, national spokesperson of the TMC. Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, also joins us on the broadcast, along with Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst. Good evening to all of you. Tehseen Poonawalla, today was the opportunity to ask all the tough questions that the opposition has been meaning to, asking for answers, asking for clarification. Instead, once again, ruckus, sloganeering, and the minister's voice drowned out, something that the people of this country also wanted to hear.
Good evening, Swati. Thank you so much for having me on this show. Let me begin this show by accepting I'm anti-national, I'm against India. All this is because of me. I've caused all of these crises. But because that's the BJP narrative, and I'm eating chai, I'm eating samosa, I'm eating all of this. Having said that and putting those caveats out, me, Riju, Somnath Bharti and Ghanshyam eating samosas, chai, and we've caused this panic. States have been allocated 40,000 kiloliters of additional kerosene as an alternative to LPG. I have not put out. Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas has put out. This is my fault. If LPG is there, why are you putting out kerosene, which is polluting, not safe, and has other drawbacks and taking us back in time? The mandirs in Ayodhya have said Ram Rasoi has been cancelled due to lack of LPG. I can give you several instances, including High Court canteens where it's been cancelled, restaurants that are facing shortages. All this Ghanshyam and I are doing. Look, Swati, the fact of the matter is we knew that this Iran-Israel-America war was going to break out. We knew it. We may not know the exact date, but we knew that US was doing a build-up. We knew that 80 to 85% of our LPG comes to the Strait of Hormuz. We know that India does not have strategic reserves of LPG. Yet for 10 days, Hardeep Puri ji did nothing to secure us. And now states have to go to the less safe and polluting kerosene, and you're saying there is no shortage? Is this your responsibility? And you have the guts to tell me that I'm having chai and samosa, therefore I'm creating panic? Have I created panic in the Ram Mandir? Is Ram Mandir is the Mandir and the Ram Rasoi also anti your government? What are you talking? Today in the most prominent school in Delhi, The notice has just come to all kids that from Monday they will not have catering for kids. What is going on? This is also my fault. Look, at the end of the day, this government has failed terribly as so far as LPG is concerned. And I will give you one last thing. I completely understand because my friend Dr. Anand is there and he's somebody I really respect. I really respect Anand. LPG, unlike crude, cannot be saved, cannot be made secure unless you have specialized domes which are pressurized to keep it secure. That's basic. You know, Manmohan Singh ji in 2013 had envisaged this situation, had given a budget in 2014 for 3. Modi ji gave the allocation in 2016. Today we are in 2026. Why is it not constructed?
Okay.
Why do we not have this? Now these people, this is also our fault.
No, Tehseen, I'm just adding another few questions asked by Mr. Manikam Tagore to what you just said. Why was no long-term storage plan created despite the massive expansion in LPG consumption? Why has the government allowed such extreme dependence on imports? Why were additional underground storage caverns not built over the last decade? Now, I've added all those questions to the one you already asked. My question is, why were these not raised in Parliament or not allowed to be raised in Parliament? Pertinent questions that you are asking here on the panel tonight, pertinent questions that the opposition has asked outside the Parliament. What about raising them inside the Parliament and having a meaningful debate, allowing the people of this country to get answers and clarification from this government, if you so care about millions of people in this country?
Whether in the Parliament we walked out or we didn't walk out, what stopped the Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas to answer these questions which the nation wants to know? Number two,
he was responding in that statement that he made. He was continuously responding, Tehseen Poonawalla. But again, there was massive ruckus and sloganeering, and people couldn't hear what he was trying to say.
May I just say one thing? The Honorable Minister, I heard the Honorable Minister speaking in Parliament. He said we have so much of LPG supply. Yet they have reverted after his speech in Parliament to kerosene. But I have one question. Along with the Honorable Minister, why is my Prime Minister, on whose name this government has come? Pradeep comes on TV and I respect Pradeep, says it's Modi government. If it is Modi government, shouldn't the Prime Minister be sitting there? Okay, I'm irresponsible. Why is my Prime Minister sitting there? He speaks in no,
I'm not saying you're responsible or irresponsible. I'm saying all the questions that have been raised on the panel and outside the Parliament should be raised inside the Parliament. You should have asked Hardeep Puri about that as well. You should have asked Hardeep Puri and waited for him to respond and then ask some counter questions as well. That did not happen.
Let him respond to this now.
No, one second. Allow Pradeep to come in now, but the opportunity has been lost, and that too by the opposition that for so many days was seeking clarification from the government. The time was today. Let Pradeep Bhandari come in. Pradeep Bhandari, please respond to Tehseen Poonawalla. He says that you are saying there's no shortage, but look at the situation on ground. These are mere statements. The minister could have still, despite the opposition walking out, he could have still responded to the questions that were raised. Compromised. That's the main allegation.
Well, Swati, the seriousness of the Indian opposition and in particular an oikophobe Rahul Gandhi on this current global energy crisis can be understood from the fact that when he was given the time on the floor of the House to speak on it, he spoke about everything else except the LPG. The seriousness of the Congress party to address this issue. Allow me to please make my point. The connection is interrupting, so please allow me to make my point. I was listening to you for the last 4.5 minutes. The seriousness of the Congress party on this could be understood from the fact that they are sharing fake images from 2011 in order to score certain brownie points. And the intention of the Congress party here is not to ask genuine questions and concerns. The intention here is to attempt to politically profit from a crisis which is global in nature, which India has nothing to do with it. But still, in the interest of your viewers, I will answer the questions as the Honorable Minister also answered. Fact number one, that India does not have any shortage of LPG. At this moment, 90% of consumption is domestic in nature. All the individuals sitting in the panel have the domestic LPG connection going. In fact, 30 crore plus LPG connections are there. It has doubled in the last 11 years. And 90% is domestic in nature, which has zero interruptions. The 10% which he's speaking about, There are roughly 333,000 restaurant and commercial entities, on which also there is a 3-member committee which is formed, where a 20% supply increase has happened, or the supply started for the commercial outlets. All of us admit that it's an unprecedented global situation. So there will be certain bottlenecks, but the government here is addressing that.
Okay, but Tehseen is asking, if there is no shortage, then why additional allocation of PDS kerosene has been issued to all the states?
Is interested in spreading fake news. That is an emergency. That is an emergency.
No, one second.
For a certain scenario, that is how any government will do.
What?
That is how any government will do.
1 second.
You prepare for a best case. You prepare for every case scenario. That is but obvious. Tehseen, you are acting like a child today. Sorry to say.
Swati, I must.
That is how you are doing it.
Okay.
Because everywhere you will
Swati,
prepare for every scenario.
No, since you are accusing that fake news is being spread and peddled, Tehseen wants to come in. Yeah.
Swati, this is Times Now, the country's #1 news channel. I have a lot of respect for Pradeep and you. I will give up coming on TV. If it is fake news, I will give up and I will apologize publicly to the minister. States have been allocated 40,000 kiloliter of additional kerosene as an alternative to LPG, says Oil Ministry official. PTI tweet 5:50 today at 12:26 after the Honourable Minister spoke, to which I have quote tweeted that if there is no LPG shortage as claimed by the Honourable Minister, why have you replaced the cleaner, more efficient LPG with polluting kerosene that causes harm as an alternative?
Okay.
I will give up coming on
quick rebuttal.
People resign.
Okay,
I will give up my career. How's this a fake news?
Okay,
I think you should give up. Listen to me. Allow me. I think you should definitely give up. I will be unhappy, but you should give up because you and the Congress never stand to your words. What did I say? I said that you used a fake 2011 image on the Congress handle in order to say that the entire crisis has taken place. You need to first listen properly. Point number 1. Point number 2 on what you said. I said that is being prepared as an emergency scenario. Now you answer me. Tell me 10 households in this country where domestic LPG has been stopped. There are 90%, 33 crore LPG connections are there in this country. 90% is domestic in nature. I challenge you on Times Now and I will appeal you leave the show if you cannot name me 10 domestic household consumptions where the LPG has been stopped.
Okay,
or leave the show if you really believe in your word.
Okay, Tehseen.
I challenge you. Name me 10 domestic LPG connections. Right now, do not beat around the bush.
Okay, 1 second. Allow Tehseen to come in. Mr. Datta also wants to come in. Tehseen first, yes. Tehseen.
Additional kerosene as an alternative to Pradeep, I gave you the respect. You must now allow me.
Stop beating around the bush.
Pradeep, you are being Pradeep.
You should answer that. You should answer that.
Okay, Tehseen's turn for a rebuttal, please.
Okay. I will again repeat. Pradeep, come on, Pradeep.
Okay, 1 second. Allow Tehseen to come in.
You're present in this, Pradeep. People can see through. Additional kerosene as an alternative to LPG. This is obviously not for commercial use, but for house.
Exposed here also. This is also exposed. No, Swati, I'll expose him on this also. This is the Times Now report. No, he's lying. He's lying on your show. No, he's lying on the Times. This is it. Let me quote the viewer. He's quoting in our truth. Okay. Officials told the Times of India and the Times Now that this is only a backup plan and will be used as a last resort. He's saying it is used as an alternative. He's a liar. He's lied on your show.
Okay.
No, he should apologize.
Okay.
No, you misquoted it.
Okay. Allow him to respond to that allegation. Although I read from what the minister said. From what the minister said in Parliament. That's okay. 1 second. Okay. All right. Tehseen, this one I have to open this for other panelists as well.
Please, Swati,
yes, please respond. Yes.
Pradeep and me, but I would like to respond. Instead of my friend calling me names and acting, come on, Pradeep. Pradeep, you're better than this. Instead of my friend, allow me to talk. Let the viewers hear. Instead of my friend calling me names and acting like Swati, you have to mute him, please. I request you.
Go ahead,
Let the viewers hear.
Tehseen, go ahead.
Please.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Please mute him. Instead of calling me names and acting like a fish out of water, just answer. If this is an alternative to LPG, it's obviously not for commercial use. Maybe it's a backup plan, but it is for residential. So that falls your plan. Number 2, is the mandirs, is the schools, Is the other commercial establishments where LPG is not coming also putting out fake news? The fact is you have a shortage. Accept it, say we failed, and work towards it. We are ready to work with you. What you're doing is insulting us, going on Twitter. That's not how you work to build a nation.
Okay, all right. Let Dr. Ranganathan come in now. Dr. Ranganathan, and I'm just reading these updates as per the inter-ministerial briefing when they say 70% of India's crude imports now routed outside of Strait of Hormuz. Domestic LPG production increased by 25%. 28% now, and that we are also diversifying in terms of buying LPG from other countries. Now, if this is not preparation to deal with a situation like today, what is? Because such deals are not done overnight and certainly not executed.
Good evening, Swati, and good evening to my fellow panelists. At the outset, can I just say that, of course, they shall remain unnamed, but 2 MPs have told me that they prefer watching Times Now debate at 9 than the parliament, because this is what the debate is never adjourned and everyone has their say. And I agree with that. Of course, we have a wonderful speaker as well that takes care of all the proceedings. So this is a lovely debate that's going on. And please let me have my say. I want to make 3 very important points. Number 1, first of all, you know, the way the opposition is taking up this matter is commendable, but their route leaves a lot to be desired, because the first thing they must realize is that the increase in the price of anything does not translate into you saying that there is going to be a shortage or we must panic. Number 1, if tomorrow the price of petrol increases, doesn't mean that people start hoarding petrol. So obviously the hoarding is going on because of panic that has been created. Number 2, I saw your primer. One of the Congress leaders was saying that yes, it is legitimate to get panic because A, the government is not answering, and B, our storage will last only 2 days. So that is factually wrong. Only the underground LPG storage will last 2 days. The complete storage of LPG lasts 30 days. Now, our LPG consumption annually is about 31 million metric tons. Just yesterday, we are getting additional 1 million metric tons from the USA. We have today increased our capacity, internal capacity, domestic capacity by 25%. There is absolutely no need to panic. But here is what I say. The communication by the government leaves a lot to be desired, because Tehseen confused between domestic LPG use and commercial LPG use. So he is right that there are a lot of restaurants, canteens, even temples that are facing the pinch. So the question that Pradeep, my good friend, and BJP need to answer, if they are saying everything is wrong, then should they not sue these reports? Should they not sue Economic Times that says 20% of the restaurants have run out of cooking gas? Should they not sue the National Restaurant Association of India that says in 2 or 3 days, 60% of restaurants would be shut down? Now, obviously, this is the commercial use of LPG, but people are getting confused. And because of this news, the domestic consumers feel that, look, our LPG domestic use is also going to be affected. So, you know, in the interest of India, Prime Minister needs to call at least 2 or 3 opposition leaders, have a closed room meeting for half an hour, come out and say, yes, we are taking contingency measures. Yes, the price has to be increased because our absorbing capacity was less. But please do not panic. We have at least 1 month of storage of contingency measures and additional. Now, can the BJP not do that?
Riju Datta, Dr. Ranganathan says that the opposition should back the government here and help the government in this situation, not spread panic. The minister in the parliament today said that this is not time for fear-mongering or fake narratives. On the issue of commercial cylinders, he said a major decision, 20% of the average monthly commercial LPG requirement will be allocated from today by OMCs in coordination with state government, so that there is no hoarding or black marketing. But people couldn't hear that because his voice was drowned out.
See, I come from Bengal, and let me say this on record. Forget this commercial cylinder issue. It is obviously a very big issue, but domestic cylinder is also a very big issue in Bengal. People who are standing in gas lines, they are not gone there for picnic. People are not getting domestic gas cylinders. The booking numbers are not working. That is why people are standing in the queue. And this panic is man-made. This crisis is man-made. And it is because of the sheer incompetence and lack of foresightedness of the union government. The Honorable Prime Minister visited Israel just before this war started. What was he there to do? Go
He should have got the news that there is something going to happen. He did not go there to dance. Where is what was the petroleum minister doing? What was Laser Eye Jaishankar doing at that time? There is a severe crisis. I want to say this on record on Times Now. The panelists here on Times Now, I am sorry to say, do not represent the common India. The common people of India are panicking. They are scared.
But why are they panicking? Are they panicking because of the crisis, or because of fear mongering, as the government says the opposition is responsible for?
Absolute crisis is there on the ground. People are not getting domestic cylinders. They are calling the booking numbers. The numbers are not working. It was 25. Now it is 25 days before you have to book. Auto, the people who travel by auto are common Indians. Auto LPG cylinder prices have gone up 5 rupees per litre. This is hitting the common man. People who are sitting on this panel, we are talking about the greater India. But what are the people who are responsible for this were doing when this crisis was taking place? My last question is this. All the panelists here, is the fate of Indians under Modi, in Modi ji's achhe din, is to stand in the queue. We were standing in the queue during demonetization. We were standing in the queue during COVID. We were standing in the queue during SIR hearings. Now we are standing in the queue during a gas crisis.
Abhijit Iyer Mitra, the opposition says that the crisis is real. It's on ground for everyone to see. And you heard the government's version, what the minister said in the parliament. This is nothing but, yes, man-made, but according to them, made by the opposition because of their panic and fear-mongering.
Stupid statements.
Look, the problem out here is the opposition doesn't even read the textbooks that their own historians like Romila Thapar and co used to write for our history lessons in the 8th standard. In 8th standard, we used to do modern Indian history, which used to cover shortages and famines that happened in India. Invariably, in none of the famines in India was there ever a shortage per se. It was a supply difficulty. That was the whole problem, and a problem of even distribution of those supplies across the country. Now, if they don't want to read their own history, what can you do? We know that we have 24 days worth of supplies. All right. A month worth of supplies. We know that the eastern route, which has been activated, the Eastern Maritime Corridor, takes about 24 days for a ship to come from Vladivostok to Jamnagar. The point is, invariably in situations like this, you will have panic, you will have hoarding, you will therefore have the government start taking precautionary measures. This was the same opposition that was claiming till day before, 3 days back, that BB had told Narendra Modi in advance and Narendra Modi had ordered the attack. Now they're claiming the same Narendra Modi was so clueless that he didn't know that he had to hoard up petrol and gas when he knew the attack was coming. You see, both can't be true. One of the two has to be true. Either he was told and therefore we provisioned up on everything. They're basically admitting that they got it wrong 4 days back. Now in another 4 days, they will move on to something else and claim they got that wrong. Tell me something. This is a very important issue. We all agree it is a very important issue. Why isn't Rahul Gandhi talking about it? What is his sudden love for Epstein that he wants to talk about Epstein in the middle of LPG crisis?
Somnath Bharti, you want to come in there? Why raise Epstein?
I have a quick question.
Quick question. Okay, quick question.
My simple submission to all the panelists here is that the opposition, everybody is blaming the opposition. Opposition ko vote nahi diya hai desh ki janta desh chalane ke liye. That's why we are in the opposition. The people in power, it is their responsibility to look after the common man.
Right.
They have failed to do that.
Absolutely. Now they are saying, those people are saying that they are taking care of the people and there is no shortage. But you have questions? Okay, Abhijit, please. Yes.
Very good point. That is why you need to ask the right questions. Anybody knows in a criminal prosecution, if you do not ask the right questions, the criminal gets away. Now let us assume you are right and the BJP is guilty. When you do not ask the right questions, when you give a non-serious gentleman like the person being pictured under me right now, the problem then is he starts diverting, he starts getting into frivolities. He removes from the country.
About India, not Rahul Gandhi.
Okay, one second. But Rahul Gandhi is leader of opposition who was given the opportunity to speak, and he went on to the Epstein issue. That's what Abhijit Iyer Mitra is asking. But Somnath Bharti, it's not just about asking the right questions. It's also about staying back in the house and seeking answers.
Swati, I was very patiently listening all the co-panelists. Kindly permit me some time to put my viewpoint. See, I was watching today's proceedings in the parliament and I was shocked that not even one person from BJP is talking about the solution which Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi gave long ago. Let me show you that solution which he gave long ago. I'll ask your cameraman to show it. भाई दिखाना है इसको.
आप बता दीजिए, पढ़ के बता दीजिए.
I know what it's going to be.
मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको, दिखाना.
चाय का ठेला लेकर के खड़ा रहता था, चाय बना करके बेचता था. अब कोई चाय बनाने की बात आती है तो मेरा ध्यान जरा जल्दी जाता है. और वहीं पर एक नाली, गंदी नाली जलती थी. अब इसके दिमाग में कोई विचार आया, उसने उस नाली में, स्वाभाविक ये गंदी नाली होते वहां गैस,
ठीक है, समझ गए सोमनाथ भारती जी.
दुर्गंध आती. आप उसने एक छोटी सी
अपने टाइम में से इतना टाइम इसको प्ले करने में दे रहे हैं. आपने आर्ग्यूमेंट्स भी तो रखी है.
पाइप डाल दी और जो गटर से गैस,
देश को जानना जरूरी है स्वाति जी.
वो पाइपलाइन से
We have a very serious Prime Minister.
कम हो जाता है.
We have a very thoughtful Prime Minister.
आपने कोई मौका थोड़ी छोड़ा है इसको बार-बार बताने और सुनाने का.
So the problem is now I'll come to that. Now I'll come to that. Just give me. Would you permit me? All right. See, the problem is that nobody in this government is thinking to fix the problems of the country. They're solely there to, to be in power at any cost. चाहे वो democracy बचे ना बचे, and please mind it, in US also the discussion among the people is what? That just to divert attention from the Epstein files, Trump has attacked Iran. All right? So world over, who's who were all involved in Epstein files. And then people are talking about it. I don't know how true is this, but including my, minister, petroleum minister, Hardeep Puri ji, his name is figuring there. He met 5 times, 6 times. So the problem is that Epstein file is being discussed. Possibly the Trump, to run away from those Epstein videos being shown as pedophile, he has done this.
Okay.
And across the world, this discussion is going on. Number 2, I don't understand. See, in my own High Court, the cooked food was banned. Yesterday, I've come from by a train from Chandigarh, and then it was announced that we will not provide you cooked food. Kindly buy stuff from over the counter. So the problem is, this is being done by the government. Until now, Swati ji, Honorable Prime Minister has made no efforts whatsoever to talk to the opposition leaders, take them into confidence. See, you need to be taking steps. You're in the government. But he's so egotistic, monumental egotistic, all right, that he will not bow down to talk to the opposition leaders. But then they say, opposition leaders are spreading rumors. Nobody is spreading rumors. It is you, your decisions. In Gorakhpur, the home district of Honorable Yogi ji, we have seen fights, massive fights, brutal fights. So what do we say? In Delhi itself, 5,000 rupees the black, the black market price of a cylinder. So what? I mean, do we say nothing on this? The problem today is,
but that's the whole thing. Say it.
Vision.
Say it inside the parliament.
Lacks preparation.
Say it inside the parliament.
Compassion. They have no compassion for the countrymen.
Okay. Somnath Bharti, are you saying that Trump decided that he wanted to bury the Epstein files, so he decided, let me attack Iran, and then Israel said, okay, fine, all right, we'll help you if you want to bury the files, we'll join this fight, and then the Gulf nations say, all right, we will be acting like sitting ducks, Iran can continue to hit us, we'll take all the strikes because you want to bury the Epstein files. I find no logic in that, but yes, I find logic in the questions that you're asking, and I wanted those questions to be asked inside the parliament. When you say that we are not prepared, we're not doing anything, this government knows nothing. Ghanshyam Tiwari, very quickly, I want to bring you in.
Prime Minister.
1 second. If we were not diversifying, if our foreign policy has failed, if our diplomacy has failed altogether, if we were not prepared, why is it and how is it that 70% of India's crude imports can now be routed outside Strait of Hormuz? How is that happening? How have we been able to diversify our gas purchase?
Good evening, Swati, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. There are three important things as I answer your question. The first and most important is, you are showing in your debate PM panicking. There's not one picture of the Prime Minister जिनकी तस्वीर शौचालय से लेकर के पेट्रोल स्टेशन तक एंड पेट्रोल स्टेशन से लेकर के एयरपोर्ट तक लगी रहती है. आपके किसी भी टिकर में प्रधानमंत्री की एक फोटो नहीं है. हम यहाँ क्या बहस कर रहे हैं? We are debating how opposition is at fault. A Prime Minister who has 100 million followers on Instagram, 106 million followers on Twitter, 54 million followers on Facebook, 30 million on YouTube, has the world record of highest followership, has not been able to warn anybody, let alone Hardeep Singh Puri. In the US, commentators call this epic fury as Epstein fury. If those commentators who are speaking on your channel, they will call it Epstein Puri. The kind of response that this government has given to this situation, not one alarm, even in this scenario, when you can see till date, as this debate continues, your tickers have not shown a single photograph of Prime Minister. Make a mistake, make a note. Now, the Prime Minister is missing from the Parliament. How many times has he spoken in the Parliament? Zero. In 2026. How many times did he speak in Parliament in 2025? A handful. We can count on fingers. Overall, how many times has he spoken in Parliament? When Amit Shah stands up and counts Rahul Gandhi's presence in Parliament, he's showing a mirror to the Prime Minister. Man who is missing, he's the leader of the House. He will not do a press conference. You have a deeply compromised petroleum minister who will not tell the reality to the nation. You have pictures playing of people standing in line. I agree with Pradeep and anybody who's on the government side to say that there's no need to panic. If you look at the data says there should not be a need to panic in terms of number of refills that an average household has. But people are panicking. And BJP is doing zero. One press conference, one authentic statement from the Prime Minister would remove that.
Okay.
But a Prime Minister who's going around the country, speaking in election rallies presented as government programs, wearing Israel's medals, doing chamchagiri of people who are responsible for these wars, being controlled by Trump and his tweets. How will that Prime Minister face the nation? How? So there is no question here on the opposition. We have a Prime Minister who in Parliament every day people shout that he's compromised.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, see, that's the problem. That's the problem when I'm talking about diversifying our oil purchase, when I'm talking about non-Hormuz routes that are being used for crude supply, when I'm talking about diversifying our gas purchase, your एंटायर फोकस इज ऑन टिकर पे प्रधानमंत्री की फोटो चल रही है कि नहीं चल रही है. देखिए, ये मिसप्लेस प्रायोरिटीज होती हैं. ये मिसप्लेस प्रायोरिटीज होती हैं. अंदर पार्लियामेंट में भी जब आपके पास ये मौका था कि अब आप सवाल पूछते तो आपने उसको घुमा फिरा करके एप्स्टीन फाइल्स पर रख ले आए. आप पूरा का पूरा अपना फोकस रखते ना, पूछ लेते सवाल, ये भी पूछ लेते अंदर. स्पीकर ने ये भी कहा that if you want to talk on something other than this, you give a notice for that, and even if you want to level allegations, there are norms. As per parliament norms, आप उस सेक्शन के हिसाब से अपना नोटिस दीजिए and level allegations.
ना पार्लियामेंट में प्रधानमंत्री हैं, ना
पार्लियामेंट में प्रधानमंत्री नहीं है. यही सवाल आपको पार्लियामेंट में पूछ लेना चाहिए था. प्रदीप भंडारी wants to come in. कहाँ है प्रधानमंत्री? प्रधानमंत्री जो हैं वो गल्फ कंट्रीज के लीडर्स के साथ बात कर रहे थे, वो अपना काम कर रहे थे. ठीक है, आपको वो दिखे नहीं कहीं, टिकर पे भी वो आपको नहीं दिख रहे हैं. टिकर पे नहीं है प्रदीप भंडारी प्रधानमंत्री.
टिकर प्रदीप ने थोड़ी लगाया है, ये तो टाइम्स नाउ ने लगाया है.
ये पॉइंट आप उठा रहे हैं तो बीजेपी को उस पर जवाब देने दीजिए. मैंने आपको जवाब दे दिया. मैंने दे दिया आपको जवाब. मैंने आपको जवाब दे दिया. मैंने आपको जवाब दे दिया. प्रदीप को भी बोलने दीजिए. यही प्रॉब्लम है ना. जब यही प्रॉब्लम है कि फिगर्स और डेटा बाकी के पैनलिस्ट दे रहे हैं. आपकी पूरी निगाह इस बात पर है कि टिकर पे कौन है. टिकर पे फिलहाल माधव दास गोपाल कृष्णन है, क्योंकि अगला शो उनका होने वाला है. प्रदीप भंडारी.
It is so unfortunate, Swati, that majority of the time the Indian opposition is only focusing on spreading fake news. Let me just give you a small example. My dear friend Ghanshyam said that the Prime Minister was completely absent in the Parliament in 2026. This is on February 6, 2026, the Honorable Prime Minister speaking on the floor of the House. The issue is they are deaf because they are not able to digest the fact that there is no trahi in the country. As I again reiterate, and I will come to the point, 90% of India's LPG consumption is domestic in nature, Swati. Till now on your panel, we have crossed 35 minutes. Mr. Poonewala has not been able to name 10 individuals whose domestic LPG connection has been affected. Mr. Poonewala spread a fake news saying that kerosene has been asked to use as an alternative. Whereas I have shared with your research team and with your guest team also, and I am also showing you on air, that it was only used as an emergency stopgap arrangement. He was saying that the Prime Minister did not speak about the crisis. 20 minutes back, the Prime Minister has given a public statement, and allow me to quote that. The Prime Minister says that we have to take care of this crisis with patience and calmness. We must move forward by increasing public confidence. The Indian opposition should stop spreading panic. Now, 10% is commercial and LPG production, in which there has been certain stoppage. This is what the press conference by the various secretaries 2 hours back also addressed it. There also we move forward by allowing 20% of supply towards commercial entities. In a global scenario where there is 14% inflation in United States of America, where Vietnam is asking individuals to stay at home, India is the only country which is at normalcy compared to the global world. 70% of our crude is not dependent on Strait of Hormuz. We have oil refineries functioning at 110% capacity. What else does the Indian opposition need? And you have Rahul Gandhi, who had entire time on the floor of the House, and he did not even raise one issue, Swati. Not a single issue. And on your panel, all your panelists are only spreading fake news. Not a single genuine criticism has come.
Okay.
Even my dear friend Tehseen, who is a wise man, today has certainly acted like Rahul Gandhi.
Thank you, Swati.
Shocked.
Thank you, Swati. First, I share the emotions that Anand Ranganathan says, that there is better debate on Times now, and you are a better spokesperson. Fair debates, good debates. You don't agree with good debates on Times now? Don't shout. You agree that we are good debates on Times now?
I'm angry against Pradeep, who's saying I am spreading fake news.
But let me answer two things, Swati. Just two things, Pradeep, just allow me. Look, the fact of the matter
Anand is not
Pradeep,
go ahead.
You answer him in your time. Just allow me. Right now, about 6 minutes ago, Chairperson CPIL, Petroleum India Limited, has said, and this is a bite to a wire, I won't take the wire's name, the situation is extremely dire. There is no immediate relief in sight and conditions are deteriorating with each passing day in Delhi. There is a severe lack of assistance and even hostility towards commercial establishments seeking help. A ship carrying essential supplies has arrived, but under government orders, it must be unloaded entirely in India to prioritize domestic consumers. I completely agree that today they are prioritizing domestic consumers. At the end of the day, our restaurants are facing a crunch. We are going to have unemployment. We have hospitals that depend on LPG. We have temples, we have courts, everything. Everything in India today is under stress. And all we had planned 10 days ago, we would now not be able to set, now we have a new route coming up. This should have been done. We knew the war was happening. Pradeep and I are in the same team. Anand and I are in the same team. We don't want to see India suffer. But the problem is when we put genuine criticism out, like Anand today put genuine. Anand is actually a very reasonable guy. You're calling him also fake news. There is a panic. There is a problem. There is a problem of restaurants.
But the minister says, Dr. Ranganathan, and I don't think he is on with you on the same page on all the points. The minister in the parliament today says, as far as commercial LPG is concerned, we are regulating that because it is a supply constrained environment and it's a highly deregulated system. This is not to punish anybody.
Now, a couple of things, cynicism, sarcasm and laughter has its place, and of course it must. So what Somnath ji said about पाइप डाली नाले में, वो बेसिकली मीथेन गैस से आया, दैट हैज इट्स प्लेस. लेकिन अगर मोदी जी का वही विकल्प होता तो भाई पिछले 5 साल में 20% एलपीजी प्रोडक्शन और कंजम्पशन इंक्रीज नहीं हुआ होता. मोदी जी कहते भाई हम एलपीजी को कम करेंगे और ये नाली में पाइप डाल के ये यूज करेंगे, वो नहीं किया. सो sarcasm has its place. लेकिन लेट्स टॉक अबाउट brass tacks here. Let's talk about facts. Number 1, Swati, please, I implore you, or पहले तो I take great offense to my good friend Richu Da patronizing all of us, saying कि हमें नहीं पता कि देश के लोगों पे क्या गुजर रही है. हमें सब पता है, आप पॉलिटिशियंस को नहीं पता. One doesn't need to be a farmer to understand that farm laws were pro-farmers until you guys came along and opposed it for your political reasons. Now, give me 30 seconds. Why can't the government admit कि 330 million households हैं, उनमें से हाफ से ज्यादा लोगों को पता नहीं होगा कि भाई कमर्शियल एलपीजी क्या है और डोमेस्टिक एलपीजी क्या है. उनके कान में जाता है कि भाई देखो रेस्टोरेंट बंद हो रहे हैं क्योंकि एलपीजी नहीं मिल रहा. वो कल को सोचेंगे अरे भाई हमारा एलपीजी भी नहीं मिलेगा. दिस इज बैड कम्युनिकेशन एंड द फैक्ट इज व्हेन द गवर्नमेंट इज पावरलेस टू स्टॉप द फैक्चुअल न्यूज लाइक दिस, then of course panic will spread. But panic should not spread, cannot spread if the government in its larger vision calls to opposition ministers, 1 second, calls to opposition ministers, आधा घंटा बैठे बाहर निकल के कहें कि भाई देखो हमारे पास 1 महीने के रिजर्व्स हैं, पैनिक ना करें, दाम भले ही ज्यादा बढ़ गए लेकिन एलपीजी अवेलेबल है. What is the problem in government doing this? I don't understand.
Okay, Swati, can I come in?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I want to say this very clearly. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, who I greatly admire, and BJP and the people who are supporting the union government right now in this crisis, ये लोग यहाँ बैठ के लोगों को पागल बना रहे हैं, confuse कर रहे हैं कि commercial और domestic में. I am coming from Bengal. I am telling you, 2.5 crore domestic households are affected because they are not getting domestic LPG. Can I finish? Can I please finish?
Yes, but how many? Can you repeat that? How many households?
2.5 crore households, because the gas dealers are saying you have to book 25 days in advance, and the number is even not working. So BJP is lying on national TV. I'm talking
first. It was 21 days. That was increased to 25 days. The delivery time is still the same, 2.5 days. Go ahead.
कुछ किसी को नहीं मिल रहा है.
नहीं, पहले 21 days था, उसको बढ़ा के 25 days किया गया.
25 days किया गया है, and the numbers are not when people are talking about Times Now ticker, जो Times Now के ticker पे चल रहा है, that people are standing in queues of gas dealership all from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. That is a reality. In every Times Now debate, when BJP has to divert the issue, Swati,
okay, finish. Yeah, finish.
In every Times Now debate, when BJP has nothing to say and they have been caught, their favorite scapegoat is Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi pe dal do aur topic se bhag jao. My question is very simple. In Bengal, most of the government schools, and I'm sure this is going to affect every Indian government school, government schools, due to lack of commercial LPG, is not being able to prepare midday meals. Hospitals are getting affected. Restaurants to chodo, economic crisis hoga, unemployment crisis hoga. I'm leaving that behind. Irrespective of BJP, TMC, Hindu, Muslim, whatever, we need LPG cylinder in our house to prepare our own food. That is at stake now. And now we are trying to divert and deflect the issue into Rahul Gandhi.
Okay, पहले तो एक मिनट, आप मेरे व्यूअर्स को कंफ्यूज मत कीजिए. ये टिकर पे कुछ भी नहीं चल रहा है. जो अगला शो आएगा सिर्फ वो टीज हो रहा है. As far as the visuals are concerned, क्योंकि लाइन लगी है तो वो लाइन दिख रही है, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट का ये कहना है that is because of the fear which is being spread. Now Pradeep Datta, please come in. There are 2 points. One, Dr. Ranganathan says, 1 second, Pradeep Bhandari, I beg your pardon. Dr. Ranganathan is saying कि आप ऑपोजिशन के लोगों से बात कीजिए, मीटिंग कीजिए, उनको समझाइए कि सिचुएशन क्या है, ताकि कंट्रोल कर सकें आप ये जो फेक नैरेटिव पेडल हो रहा है. और रिजू दत्ता कह रहे हैं कि ग्राउंड पर रियलिटी कुछ और है, आप लोगों को बेवकूफ बना रहे हैं.
Swati, at the outset, my dear friend Anand and Abhijit are in-house at Times Now. So when I refer to spreading fake news, I was referring to my friends from the Samajwadi Party, AAP, TMC, and my dear friend Tehseen Poonewala. Point number 1, Rahul Gandhi से कांग्रेस वाले ही बात नहीं कर पा रहे, तो हम क्या बात करेंगे? क्या मतलब आनंद जी तो ऐसी बात कर रहे हैं, मतलब वो कैसी बात कर रहे हैं, उनको भी पता है वो मुमकिन नहीं है, क्योंकि राहुल गांधी से अगर हम बात करने जाएंगे एलपीजी के ऊपर, वो बात करेंगे टिम्बकटू की. जब हम बात करने जाएंगे दूसरे मुद्दे की, वो बात करेंगे थाईलैंड की. तो हम राहुल गांधी से बात नहीं कर सकते. ही इज नॉट अ नॉर्मल ओपोनेंट. वी विल डेफिनेटली स्पीक टू अदर ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज. दैट आई एग्री, that is something which we have tried, but we will further try. Now coming to the point 2, I will investigate, and we will definitely investigate if the Bengal government is trying to artificially create a hoarding racket in Bengal where people do not get domestic LPG connection, because he was speaking about 2.5 crore connections. Bhaiya, diya hi Ujjwala connection mein 1.6 crore in Bengal. How are you claiming 2.5 crore? Again a fact, fake news. Fake news by तहसीन सुनो भाई, वो तो नॉर्मल बताओ ना, नॉर्मल तो रैकेट तुम्हारे हाथ में ही है, तो अगर तुम अगर
उज्ज्वला से पूरा चलता है, उज्ज्वला
अरे तो गरीब तो उससे चलता है ना, तो गरीब को वहां पे तो नहीं है ना,
तो पकड़े गए, अपोलोजाइज राइट नाउ।
हाँ तो सुनो
क्या बोल रहे हैं आप
प्रदीप?
अरे रिजू भाई आप सुनो मेरी बात, आपके घर सुनो रिजू भाई, रिजू दत्ता जी, अगर
टोटल पॉपुलेशन ऑफ बंगाल आफ्टर एसआईआर इज 7.5
जाएगा, जो आपके लोगों को टेंशन मत लो,
1.6 crore household
टेंशन मत लो,
अंडर उज्ज्वला स्कीम आफ्टर एसआईआर।
टेंशन की बात नहीं है, 1 सेकंड, टेंशन की बात नहीं, इतना नहीं, हर चीज पे हंसी मजाक नहीं, केवल उज्ज्वला से सबका काम नहीं बन रहा है, केवल उज्ज्वला से सबका काम नहीं बन रहा है। 1 मिनट, हाँ प्लीज, वो जो पूछ रहे हैं सवाल उस पर स्पेसिफिक जवाब दीजिए।
स्वाति, उज्ज्वला से काम नहीं बनता, मैं सुनिए, उज्ज्वला से काम नहीं बनता तो बाकी में, क्योंकि बंगाल का अगर स्पेसिफिक केस है तो हम इन्वेस्टिगेट करेंगे, टीएमसी का कोई नेता निकलेगा ये रैकेट क्रिएट करने में और उसको जेल भेजा जाएगा, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल इन्वेस्टिगेट किया जाएगा, क्योंकि बंगाल से रिपोर्ट आ रही है।
प्रदीप भंडारिया क्वेश्चन, a serious question.
मैं भी बहुत
when you are pointing a finger at Pradeep ji, you are pointing a finger at Bengal. If there is such a big crisis, and I am lying on Times Now, why is the leader of opposition of Bengal, the state president of Bengal, was in Prime Minister's residence today discussing candidate list and not the crisis on ground? When during the UPA era, there was a price rise in LPG. Smriti Irani, the ex-cabinet minister, तो रोड पे बैठ गई थी, तो opposition तो सवाल पूछेगा। क्यों भाग रहे हैं?
Let us take that argument forward. Let us take that argument.
उज्ज्वला से दुनिया नहीं चलता, उज्ज्वला की बत्ती बुझ गई बहुत पहले।
Okay, sir, okay, let us सुनो, आपकी hates the poor of the country because just because the poor is getting an LPG connection, he is hating कि उलबजा से बत्ती नहीं, गरीब की बत्ती नहीं जुलेगी। आपकी नफरत बंगाल के गरीब के सामने दिख रही है। Now oil minister of the country, नहीं ऐसा यही इंटरप्रिटेशन तो उनका यही है। Who is the LoP the oil minister?
हालांकि ठीक है, आप जवाब दीजिए।
सरकार में ले आओ, 2 झटके में कर देंगे, टेंशन मत लो रिजू। मैं कह रहा हूँ ममता बनर्जी धरने पे क्या कर रही है,
भारत का हम देख रहे हैं,
हिंदुओं को
सरकार में तो
क्या कर रही है, हमने किया।
ओके 1 सेकंड, आर्टिफिशियल है ये आर्टिफिशियल है क्राइसिस, ये क्राइसिस मैनमेड है, ऑपोजिशन बोल रहा है मैनमेड है लेकिन गवर्नमेंट क्रिएटेड है, गवर्नमेंट इज सेइंग मैनमेड है लेकिन ऑपोजिशन क्रिएटेड है। सोमनाथ भारती, अलाउ सोमनाथ भारती टू कम इन। सोमनाथ भारती, the confusion would have been cleared, we could have got answers. I'm going back to the main point again because the main point here is, okay, finish the point. आप मेरा सवाल नहीं सुनना चाहते हैं, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं,
आप सवाल पूछ लीजिए पहले।
नहीं, सवाल मेरा वही है जो मैं स्टार्टिंग से पूछने को इसका जवाब दे नहीं पा रहा है कि आपको ये सारे मुद्दे अंदर उठाने चाहिए थे पार्लियामेंट में, चाहे आप इसको मैनमेड कह रहे हैं, सरकार बेवकूफ बना रही है, आप ऐसा कह रहे हैं, प्रधानमंत्री क्यों नहीं दिखाई दे रहे हैं, आपका ये सवाल है, ये सारे सवाल उठाए जाने चाहिए थे पार्लियामेंट में, क्यों नहीं उठाए गए? अपनी बात कही और उसके बाद चलते बने, उसके बाद सिर्फ स्लोगन्स।
स्वाति जी, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि भाई जहां आप 6-6 महीना के लिए सांसदों को बाहर उठा के फेंक दें, 140 सांसद को पिछली बार फेंका था उन्होंने बाहर उठा करके, आप किस संसद की बात कर रहे हैं? संसद में कोई किसी को बोलने दे रहा है?
तो आप फिर स्टेटमेंट क्यों मांग रहे हैं संसद में?
इस देश के अंदर
तो संसद में स्टेटमेंट क्यों मांग रहे हैं? कोई मतलब नहीं रह गया संसद का। सोमनाथ भारती जी
तक आकर के ऑन अप नहीं करते,
सोमनाथ भारती जी, अगर इस संसद का कोई मतलब नहीं रह गया है तो आप लोग संसद के अंदर स्टेटमेंट क्यों मांग रहे हैं?
He should be a man. He's not a man today.
क्या बात कर रहे हैं सोमनाथ भारती? क्या बात कर रहे हैं? क्या बात कर रहे हैं सोमनाथ भारती? प्लीज 1 सेकंड, इतना मत बह जाइए अपनी भावनाओं में, नहीं, इतना मत बह जाइए अपनी भावनाओं में। There's a certain line that one should not cross. इतना नहीं, अपनी भावनाओं को इतना हावी मत होने दीजिए। सोमनाथ भारती, आप क्यों जवाब मांगते हैं संसद में अगर इस संसद का कोई मतलब नहीं है? अरे इस संसद का कोई मतलब नहीं है, आप क्यों जवाब मांगते? Why do you want the ministers, the prime minister to come to संसद and give a statement in संसद? मतलब है कि नहीं मतलब है संसद का? पहले आप तय कीजिए ना,
उनको नहीं दिखेंगे।
पहले आप तय कीजिए, आपके लिए संसद का कोई मतलब है कि नहीं है?
उनको नहीं दिखेंगे।
He's busy in doing Hindu Muslim.
गल्फ लीडर्स से जो वो बात कर रहे थे वो हिंदू मुसलमान कर रहे थे।
What? Has he lost his mind?
नहीं, गल्फ लीडर्स से जो बात कर रहे थे हिंदू मुसलमान कर रहे थे। 28 फरवरी को स्ट्राइक होता है, एक रिक्वेस्ट आती है इरानियन अथॉरिटीज की तरफ से कि जो 3 शिप्स है उनको डॉक करने दिया जाए। 1 मार्च को वो परमिशन दी जाती, वो हिंदू मुसलमान हो रहा था, वो हिंदू मुसलमान हो रहा था।
मैं कह तो रहा हूं, अरे दुबई के शेखों से, गल्फ के शेखों के हाथों को चूमते हैं ये बिल्कुल करीब से। उनको भारत के मुसलमानों से समस्या है।
अरे कहाँ चले गए आप सोमनाथ भारती जी, कहां से कहां आप चले गए? दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम, दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम। Perhaps that is the problem. That is perhaps the problem why you are not able to raise pertinent questions inside the parliament. No, I have to also take into account what our viewers have to say. We've heard all the panelists. This is how our viewers who are watching the debate, this is what they have to say. This is how they are viewing the entire issue. Satya Prakash says his, and in bracket Rahul Gandhi, his only aim is to discredit the Modi government by rumor mongering. Then you have Deepak, who says Rahul will continue rumor mongering until 2029 Lok Sabha polls if he wants to become the Prime Minister. Let's also take a look at the poll results. So my question was, is Rahul Gandhi enjoying the tea and toast while people have to suffer as per his claim? And are people's was a joke for the Congress party? 88% people have voted yes, 10% people have voted no, while 2% have not been able to make up their minds. So the government says there's no shortage. Opposition says ye logon ko bewakoof bana rahe hain. Meanwhile, there was ruckus and one couldn't hear the statement that the opposition was demanding from the past several days from the petroleum minister. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Thank you to our viewers for watching us.